What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 355. We are back with a big Sunday in gaming with PlayStation's State of Play. We got TGS rolling this weekend, and we've got a fresh review of a game I didn't think we'd be talking about at the early part of this year, but I'm looking forward to talking about it. But we are back. I'm here with my guys, the Lawman, as you know him. Hoglaw is here. How we doing, my friend?
Good morning. I'm one of Ains's guys.
You're one of my
One
guys.
of the boys.
I'm hoping nobody noticed that I literally slammed my mic stand right when we started the show and I tried to do the intro. So I'm trying to correct in real time here. How we doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. Travel has caught up with me. I sound a little radio today. I'm not feeling so great, but Hogue said my voice sounds better than normal, which take it as a compliment. We're going to roll with it.
I just said we should get you sick before every show. That's all.
What's the little
Anyway.
What's the teddy bear behind you? I'm trying to figure out what that is.
That's Tiny Tina's rabbit. Come on now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't see the ears.
The ears are cut off with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Mr. Ty Guy's here. He's got a fresh review you're going to be talking about. How we doing?
McClunky. Good to be here, friends. And yeah, excited to talk about all the stuff that's going on in gaming, and including my psychotic and unhinged review of Baby Steps.
I'm ready for this one. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, we've got, like I said at the start, we had a State of Play. We have Ghost of Yote reviews. We got Hades 2 hitting 1.0 finally.
Ooh.
TGS is rolling. So got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, which is great. But of course, before we get to that, we got some things we got to get to. So first, I want to quickly shout out, I don't think anyone on a small screen or phone will notice, but our frame here, so Shush, one of our regulars who's created these framing graphics for us, has updated this a little bit with some different shading and coloring to make it a little better if you're watching on a big TV or something like that. I don't know why you'd want to see the three of us in very large size, but if you do, hopefully this helps a little bit with it being not so bright and in your face. So shout out to our good friend Shush for doing that. We've got a couple things at the top. We've got the Legend Vintage Willow. I'm just calling her Legend Willow from now on. Gifting 5 season gaming memberships to kick us off before the show even started. Thank you, as always, Willow. Say it every week or nearly every week. Super appreciative of that. So thank you. And, of course, Googleman kicks us off with an early super chat as well.
Googleman, 81, 10 euro super chat. Something Evie Pomporus said on the Diary of a CEO podcast recently made me realize all should play Baby Steps. Bolt Thrower is a cute, fun band.
I got nothing. I mean, I know what Baby Steps is. Who's Evie Pomporus?
I don't know that answer to that one. Diary of a CEO made me realize we should all play Baby Steps. It's interesting.
Okay. Well, and what's Bolt Thrower? Is it actually a band?
Sure. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask about bands.
You got us this morning, Google. I mean, you usually do a pretty good job, but yeah.
I'm 100% stumped, but I agree we should all play Baby Steps.
All right. We'll look that up in the meantime, but Google, thank you. As always, my friend. Appreciate it. All right. I also want to call out that we have some really, really interesting AI picks this week. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think I finally win one.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's
Very
see
excited.
It's been a while, but I think I'm pulling this off. And Hogue, I don't know, man.
All right.
I don't even want to pull this up because Travis looks like he's been on a bender for like 2 weeks in this picture.
Nice.
All right. I was worried we were going to be in Baby Steps onesies.
Yes, it's not Baby Steps for Wolverine, but
okay. Ains, you look great. You totally look like you could be the cartoon.
I look like
Wolverine.
I'm from the cartoon.
No, yeah, you're fantastic. Hogue, you look like the reason that the kids don't want to go trick-or-treating with dad. Just way too into it.
I do have like a rubber suit.
I'm like the pre-Me Too generation Wolverine. on a sitcom. Not a.
You are like an 80s recreation of what it would be.
Like what if Wolverine lived in an apartment with Magneto, and it's just some hacky comedy.
Oh my god!
My character's always bringing home the ladies, and you alley cat, says Magneto.
I like the one eyebrow out too. It just adds to it. It's perfect.
Well, I did do that on the show, so I think it took that from me. I don't know.
Ains, do you figure that the cartoon animal hair are your headphones for this purpose?
Apparently, it's integrated into the technology at this point. Yeah, that's what I'd go with. Or they're just behind whatever the hair is that's attached to my head.
It's never not giving you headphones.
I know.
Although I did just
kind of molded them.
I'm used to seeing Wolverine bald because his costume covers his head, but he's actually not bald. So this is this is just his skin now. So I guess this is him when he's a little bit older and washed up, which I don't think is physically possible for Wolverine, but we've got
I don't know, man. I've seen Wolverine die, right?
Yeah, but he was still not old. Well, he's old, but he doesn't look old.
I was going to say, if you look at Hugh Jackman in Logan versus Hugh Jackman in X-Men, you will see that he is in fact not Wolverine.
Yeah, no, the reality meets is a little broken by the lore here.
Ty, thank you. Good ones this week. Appreciate you. Hogue, I'm going to close this now because you're scaring me.
Sure.
That's fair.
I don't think I've ever had that face in my life.
Can you try it right now?
It's like what?
Really, really good. You look like you hit your knee.
Oh my god. That's good. So thank you, Ty. Thank you, Shush, and thank you, Googleman and Legend Willow, as always. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it here. So, Travis, I think for once, because you and I have reviewed several games together now, or in parallel. We often talk about how you are generally a little more critical than peers on your review scores. And yet the game Baby Steps, which is an obviously comical game, or supposed to be comical, you'll tell us about it, that many people really didn't know what to think of. You're coming in way higher than the average on this one. And you said this is a 9. It's amazing. Tell us about Baby Steps.
Yeah. So I relish the opportunities where I'm an outlier, but it's pretty rare. People say I'm more critical, but if you actually look at OpenCritic or Metacritic, I tend to be like right in the middle, which annoys me all the time. So I'm actually happy to have an outlying opinion on this one.
Okay.
It is rare. So this is a game that I knew was going to be divisive because it is weird. Every part of it's weird. Like, it is very obviously published by Devolver Digital, which is something you can tell as soon as you start playing the game, because it's just tone and aesthetic is I always think of Devolver Digital as like they're the publisher equivalent of like Adult Swim. You know what I mean? Like, their games are just weird and odd, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't get it, you don't. And I have a pretty good history with Devolver Digital, but some of their games are a little too experimental and weird, and sometimes they nail it. And so I kind of like their vibe. This game is divisive because it's extremely hard to play on purpose. For those who don't know, it is a game where you play a overweight neckbeard guy who suddenly finds himself on a hiking trip, and he can barely walk, and you have to control each of his legs independently with a trigger and then a stick to basically choose which way he's leaning. And so you're constantly leaning and lifting one or more legs. And it is very crazy. The first moments of the game, you're literally just face planting constantly. You can't move more than a couple feet without hitting the ground, if you're lucky. Like, I was even slower than I think most people, because I was trying to like walk in real time, and that's just not possible. You just can't. You can't walk like a normal person, and I was trying to, so it took me a while to get used to it. And I think a lot of people,
but
yeah.
Does anyone remember QWOP?
Yes. So it is made by the same people.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the guys who made QWOP and Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, the game where you're in a jar with the pickaxe and you're flopping around. If you've seen that game,
I don't think
which
so.
are, I bet you would recognize it if you saw it. It was like a very like viral game, but it is made by the same team of people
I did not know
that
that.
made
That's
those
hilarious.
games. And so they have been at this for a while, and I do think that this is like their magnum opus of that idea, because their entire like brand is, what if we made games where it was intentionally difficult to just even do the basic function of movement. And I think QWOP is hilarious, but it's obviously not like a serious game. Getting
Yeah.
Over It with Bennett Foddy is funny, but it is so unapproachable that even like an average player couldn't play it. And I think the beauty of Baby Steps is that it is legitimately easy enough for anybody to get through the game. But the fun in that game is that it surrounds the golden path with interesting stuff that you can optionally do. And so it kind of basically lets you choose your own difficulty, because the basic hike is like you just going up a hill, and it has certain areas where like things get a little bit more challenging and they force you to like learn stuff about how the character moves. But every area has like or you could just walk up this kind of easy version of this and just get to the end. And so you could blow through the game in a couple hours if you do that, but it's hard to, because they show all these like glittering things off to the side where it's like, oh, this is at the top of a temple, and if you can figure out how to like wiggle your way up to the top of this temple, you get an extra cutscene, or you meet a character that you don't meet if you don't go that way. And so they all have like little story bits that you can get along the way. So a couple of things about this game. One, if you can get through the beginning, which is incredibly frustrating at the very beginning when you're like learning the very basics, and like they're not helping you because they're just like, figure it out, dude. Like, you move one leg, you move the other leg. How hard could it be? As it turns out, there is a ton of depth in this game. Like, until the very end, I was learning new stuff about like how you can make him move, because there's all these little nuances, like the fact that the triggers are analog, so the harder you pull it, the higher his knee goes. And so you can use that to his advantage if he's like walking downhill by taking like tiny steps, or you can use it to your advantage if you're like, you have to get your leg up on something high. And then the other thing is like the precision of where you put the foot is really specific and delicate, and so you can like hover your leg over things and then place it down gently. And then also, like when you push on one trigger to lift that leg, he like pushes down on the other one in a weird way, and so you can basically use that to like kind of climb things. So there's all these like intricacies you figure out as you play, and it's all just like you trying to figure out how to move this guy in a very basic way. And it's really funny and fascinating. So it does that. The difficulty is optional. You can make it one of the hardest games you've ever played by pursuing like all of these side quest stuff, but it never makes you feel like you have to do any of them. They're all completely optional. It's sort of a game about like you figuring out how you can have fun at the game and appreciating the difficult moments. And maybe you try something for a little bit and you just go, this is too hard, and then you kind of F off and go do something else, or you just stick at it. And then when you finally get it, you get that like great feeling of like, I did it. I got to the top of that castle or whatever the heck it was you were climbing. I pulled off that stupid thing. And that's super satisfying, obviously. But then it also has a story that at the beginning of the game feels like it's just there to make you laugh, and it's kind of a nothing story, but it evolves into something where there actually is a story that the game's trying to tell you. And it's both a story about Nate and about getting kind of fulfillment out of life and self-confidence and being bad at social interactions, and a lot of stuff I can relate to personally. But it's also kind of a meta narrative about the types of people that play games in a weird way. And I've seen all these articles this week that are really interesting, that are like people taking really big kind of lessons from this game, or getting like touched by it in ways that were a little lost on me. But it's just interesting to see different people kind of taking different things from it that were really cool. I think it was the GameSpot review was like focused a lot on the story, or maybe it was an article, not the review. But yeah, there was just some really cool takes that I saw that kind of made me go like, oh wow, that's awesome that somebody got that out of it.
Yeah, PC Gamer did one on like the pointlessness of game playing, or not it being pointless, and the pointlessness of life, and this whole thing. And I was like, cripes, this is in this game? Because every trailer looks like you wander into a mud pile and then are made fun of by Australian men.
Yes, that is how it starts for sure. And also just goes throughout. I mean, it is a comedy game. It has like a lot of vulgar moments. There's characters that are like naked for no reason. And just like, there's like a lot of goofy things in the game. But it does go places. And I think it has something to say in a weird way, but more importantly, if you are like me and you're taking your time with the game, like I didn't do everything. I was on a deadline and they only gave me 4 days to review this game all the way to the video edit. That's like an incredibly tight turnaround. So there were some things where I just had to like give up and go, I'll just do this when I play through it on my own. But I did do all of the major stuff, like all of the big things that it was like, hey, you can climb this 250 floor staircase, or you can go up this cliffside called the Man Breaker. That's like one of the toughest things in the game. It's like a 90-minute puzzle where if you fail at any part, you fall all the way to the bottom. Like that stuff I did. And so it took me like 20 hours to get through the game. And it's a game you could probably beat in 4 or 5 if you just went straight up the golden path. So there was this weird, it's sort of, I think of like JRPGs where like by the end of the story, even though JRPGs sometimes have like really convoluted, stupid storylines, by the end of the game, you always feel like you're really close to the people because it took you 100 hours to get to the end of the story.
And this has a journey.
Yeah, exactly. This has a very similar like Lord of the Rings vibe to it, where it's like when you get to Mordor, you actually do feel a kinship both with Nate as a person you kind of feel sorry for the entire game, and he's really unlikable at the beginning and weird, and you just don't get why he's doing the things he's doing. But then when you get to the end, you do get it. You're like, I kind of feel like I've been in your shoes before, man. Or he doesn't wear shoes, actually, just feet. I've been in your bare feet before. And yeah, it's surprising in a number of ways because it seems really frivolous and vapid and like just silly. And then you find out it has depth in pretty much every way, both in the game design and kind of the open, free flowing, choose your own difficulty adventure, both in the story that is surprisingly like there's something there, and just in the mechanics itself of like, it seems like stupid and pointless. And the farther you get into it, you go, no, these mechanics are not arbitrary. They have a very specific design to them. And if you learn to master it, like it made me really invested in achieving mastery at the game, the game mechanics. And I just like was chasing that dragon the entire way through. Like I wanted to be the best at this game for some weird reason, because I really started to believe that it had really compelling kind of rules that you had to learn. And so, yeah, just every part of it hit with me. And then the most important part, which is I've never played a game like Baby Steps. It defied my expectations every step of the way. The mechanics are unlike anything I've seen. The story is super weird and new, and just every part of it, I was just like, you guys know how much that appeals to me. I'm interested in seeing new and interesting stuff in the games industry. And this is just 100% like, it's super weird and super unique, and it crushes like the vast majority of the things it tries. So for me, that's tough to beat. And so for me, it's an easy 9. And this is one of those games I would jump on a soapbox and defend if somebody said that it was a 7. Like I have a very differing opinion, but I definitely understand how the people who got to 7s got there, because I read some reviews where it was very clear that they either just took the golden path or they just got frustrated and put the game down and never made it to the end. And there were times in this review where I wanted to do that, because it can really piss you off when you fall. It has no checkpointing system. So if you fall all the way down a mountain, you just got to walk step by step all the way back up. If you rage quit the game, it saves you exactly where you are every time you turn off the game. So, there's no rewinding or anything like that. Like it doesn't hold your hand. But it is a very cool, very unique game that I think everybody should give a try.
Well, Travis, can I ask you one question that I think would have prevented me from giving it a 9? I haven't played this game. As a matter of fact, Travis warned me off it in the middle of the week, primarily because of my left hand issues. I asked him if I could handle the precision and the analog controls, and he said it would be very tough. But I want to ask about the elephant in the room here for me, which is that this might be the most aesthetically displeasing thing I've ever seen in screenshots or trailers. So graphics are still a component of evaluating a video game, right? How did you feel about how this thing looked? Because I almost want to throw up a little bit from some of the scenes that I see.
Yeah. So I wrote that in my review, that it is downright ugly as a game, which it for sure is. And I guess the thing I would say about that is that it looks as good as it needs to. And once you get used to the fact that like the faces and the environments are like off-putting, it has a very dreamlike feel to it that gets more dreamlike the longer you play it, and it kind of makes the aesthetics fit with the game in a weird way. Like when you're at the beginning and your character's like in their apartment and is just like being a immobile neckbeard, you're kind of like, wow, this game is ugly. And then when you get to the location, I don't want to do any spoilers, but when you get to the location, it starts to make sense why things look a little weird. And it just was never a problem to me. I don't think games need to look like beautiful to be a 10 out of 10 game. I just think that they have to their graphics and their frame rate and they have to serve the game and what it's trying to accomplish. And for me, I think it weirdly fits with the like a kind of weird creature-esque vibe that I just got from this game. And it's kind of its off-putting aesthetic. Like I kind of view it as a natural filter. Like it's going to filter the people out who are not going to play a game just because they don't think it looks good. And I don't think those people would like this game anyway. So it kind of serves as like a kind of like good, just barrier to get the people out that are not going to enjoy it. But for me, graphics are, I don't need a game to look like amazing for me to like it personally. I like old games. I like games that are like held back by the limitations of the time. But yeah, I mean, the first like hour or two, I was like, wow, this game is straight up ugly. It also has like a weird amount of pop in considering what it is. Like,
really,
you wouldn't think a game where you walk really slowly and that's the entire mechanic has like objects popping in, but it does. So that was one of the things I talked about in the review is like, yeah, technically this game is just a nightmare, and I don't know how it's running as badly as it runs, but it's not like the frame rate is crashing. It's not like you're messing up the game mechanics and falling because of something that was happening in the game. Like you're always very clear what a surface will do if you put your foot on it. And yeah, just like the actual gameplay part of it is never held back by the way the game looks. And honestly, most of the game you're staring at this guy's feet and the surface is just below it. And so you're not really looking around a whole lot when you're actually like in the game. You're staring at his feet, like trying to focus on making him not tip over. So they have that advantage, I guess, as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the answer. Actually, I think that's a really good answer. I play a lot of indie games. I play a lot of older games and retro games. So I don't need photorealism and see all the shiny lights and all the ray tracing. But I think I do need to not be repelled by the aesthetics on my screen.
This game, like I said, it's like an Adult Swim show. It kind of seems like it wants to repel you a little bit. And for some people, they are repelled. And I think you can see those reviews. You can read those reviews. They're there. And then for the people who it weirdly clicked with, like a Adult Swim show at 2 a.m. that just makes you laugh for some reason and your other friend finds it not funny at all. Like some people get the joke and some people don't. And I got this joke. It just clicked with me. Yeah.
I think you've defended your 9 very well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sounds interesting.
Confirmed.
If it wasn't so crazy with game releases right now, honestly, it sounds interesting because I love it.
It's cheap.
It sounds
I found that out this week.
Yeah, how much it's cheap and it's $18, I think.
Yeah, it's 20. It's 18 if you've got PS Plus, but it's $20.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, Ains, this would be a great one to stream. Like it's so fun to watch people like process what they're seeing and also figure out the mechanics piece by piece. Like seeing somebody go through that journey, I can imagine is really funny. Actually, I know it is because I made Dee play the first couple hours of the game. Which is crazy. She took to it way faster than me. Like the first hour, I was like, I don't know about this one. Dee played it 5 minutes in. She was like, I love this game. I want to play this game so bad. I was like, all right, more power to you, Dee. Like, so yeah, it was, it's cool, man. If you're open to weird experimental games, I think you should give it a try. Hogue, I do think it would probably be too frustrating since the entire mechanic is like how sensitive and precise can you be with your left hand specifically. I am left-handed, so no problems here. Yeah, I know. Ains
I appreciate the honesty there. I really did ask Travis. I saw his review. I read his review. He described some of the analog controls. I said, look, it's Wednesday, I think, of this last week. This looks at least interesting to me. I respect your opinion. How much is this going to kill me? Because my left hand, I've gotten up to kind of digital mastery. Like there was a long time where it would just pull the left trigger by itself, my left index finger. And that doesn't happen as much anymore, but anything in between on and off is trouble for me in any of these games. So he said baby steps is probably a bridge too far.
Yeah. Although it would be a good training exercise if you ever want to, Rocky that.
Take it to OT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, you did ask Travis about that. So Travis, thank you. That sounds cool. I may have to check that out. And I've been meaning to, I really need to raise some money for Extra Life this year. And I've been thinking about what I'm going to stream. So maybe later this year, we'll do some funny streams of baby steps.
That would be cool. I would watch that. I don't like watching streamers play games, but this is the type of game I would for sure watch, like a friend of mine, like process and go through their initial reaction. It's just really funny.
All right.
Also, the game really did make me laugh. I must say, the writers of this game, they've got some comedy chops, like they knew what they were doing.
Cool. Well, Hogue did ask you about baby steps, and then Hogue did a 180 and counter to his commentary last week of Silent Hill's aesthetic does not interest me at all. He said, fine, I'll go and buy Silent Hill, a game that costs more than 3 times as much as baby steps.
Yes, Hogue, this was the entire interaction.
You're an enigma, my friend. So I started Silent Hill as well, but sadly, I came home from traveling this week to my AC unit completely seizing and having a whole bunch of work done on my house these last 2 days. So I have not had as much time to play it as I liked because my house was in disarray down here in the game room. So where are you in Silent Hill, Hogue? How many, how far are you and how you liking it?
Early on, I would say. I mean, it's almost certainly early on, a few hours. And first, I want to say I have the utmost sympathy for HVAC issues with anybody's home. It is the worst feeling to just have a random 5-figure bill on your door.
Awesome.
So I'm sorry about that, Ains.
Yeah, it literally seized from when my wife left for the airport and picked me up. We got home and it felt weird in the house because it's hot here, and we were like, "What's going on?" And anyway, doesn't matter. Silent Hill.
Silent Hill F. Okay, I really, really like Silent Hill F. I was not anticipating picking it up, to be fully honest. When I was looking to buy a game and I was thinking about baby steps, and I went with Silent Hill, I forgot Chronos existed. So sorry, Bloober team. But bought Silent Hill. It was on the front page of the store. I'm an easy sucker for that kind of stuff, and really thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I can't decide whether to keep it in Japanese or move it to English. I think both presentations are good. I don't like reading while I'm in some kind of action game setting, so that's my problem. I don't like moving my eyes where I don't want them to be when I'm fighting a monster in a foggy Japanese village. So I would like to say that this game has been everything that I would have wanted coming off of the Silent Hill 2 remake. It is weird. It has a lot of interesting lore. It's well handled with the diary in this particular game. It doesn't have a cool animation for picking up the map, which I miss, but hey, it's the same kind of game as that Silent Hill 2 remake. And the combat is not great, or if it is great, it isn't great at the start. I haven't gotten far enough to see it be great if it is. It is clunky and mechanical. You can see why they were rejecting the associations with the Dark Souls series, because it has absolutely none of that fluidity. It's not designed that way. And it shouldn't be, right? Silent Hill is not an action game franchise.
No, the combat feels like Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's clunky and perfunctory, and you feel like, I guess if we didn't get any better than that, that would be good enough. That's how you feel about it, but you're not in Silent Hill for any of that. You're playing it for the weird psychological horror, and this one delivers that in spades. I think teenage girl in the 60s in any country is interesting enough, and it's clear that they've got some things to say about that particular role is as part of this game. And so I think it's really, really well done. I have been surprised at how much I like it. It got subsumed, as we'll talk about, by Hades 2 later in the week in terms of my time. But I really like Silent Hill F, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it in October, where things like Silent Hill live.
Yeah, I generally agree. I'm very early as well, probably even earlier than you. So I'm maybe less than 3 hours into it. But already I like it. It's got you nailed it. It's got the right vibes. We'll go on vibes, right? It's got the right feel and look and kind of Silent Hill creepiness you would expect. I too like the diary. I like the way that's handled. To your point, the combat, is pretty simple, and you can put it on harder if you want. on combat. I don't really know why you would in a Silent Hill game. It's not really the point, which I agree with you, Hogue. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to playing more. I got home to Chronos and Silent Hill because I still buy physical. Both of them were waiting for me when I got home from traveling. So I decided to start Silent Hill first. I have Chronos installed. I haven't started it. So we'll talk hopefully a little more about that next week. But yeah, it's a good time for horror. And to your point, we're coming up to horror season. So I'm looking forward to going through these games. I don't really have anything else to add on Silent Hill. It obviously reviewed extremely well. So I will just say, sitting at like a high 80s on OpenCritic. A lot of people really love this. And can we just say it's the first new mainline, what I would call mainline, not like the little experience they released last year. What was that one called?
Like what? Last Call, Phone Call. I can't remember the
something
subtitle
like that.
now. It's something.
Yeah,
Call.
Me neither. Silent Hill Call.
It was Silent Hill. Social Media is Evil, and it was not very good.
Okay, yeah, but this one seems to be really loved by a lot of people who reviewed it and played it early, and it's just great to have a real new main Silent Hill game back. We've been waiting a long time.
It hits the vibes. I really can't recommend it enough if you like Silent Hill. And yeah, the combat, you're gonna get in there, you're gonna hit something with a pipe, and you're gonna be like, I don't even know that they animated him being hit by the pipe, and it's like, yep, it's that kind of game.
Yep, it's Silent Hill. Yeah. But yeah, can't wait to play more. But you kind of alluded to one of the other major releases, which is Hades 2 from Supergiant.
Holy crap, Hades 2, folks.
Hitting 1.0 this week. I bought that in early access so long ago, I forgot I owned it. I logged into Steam and I was like, oh, 1.0 is available. Cool. I
feel for Toa and the Tree People. I feel for Toa and the Tree People because Hades 2 just comes in, eats its entire lunch, and kicks it to the curb. I talked last week about how that game didn't have good room-to-room combat feel. Hades 2 does the exact opposite, as you would expect from the success with Hades. This game takes Hades and says, what if we layered on maybe 4 or 5 more pretty complicated systems on top of it? And to some extent, there are some times when I go to play Hades 2 and I think maybe you went too far, maybe it's a little too fiddly. But for the most part, I play Hades 2 and say, no, this is fantastic. I never want to be playing anything else. Why would I ever turn on a different game? Hades 2 is action, it's narrative, it's art, it's sound, it's everything you want in a video game. I love it to death.
That was quick for you. I was typing a comment on mute. I wasn't ready for that.
No, not at all. I don't know what else to say about it other than it is all of those things. Every given thing that you do in this game feels good. It's all been thought through. The menus are new and fantastic. You have an entire kind of collectathon reagents kind of setting that you have been added on to doing all the things that you're doing within the game. The only thing that I don't love as much as the first one is that this takes what I would call a witchy aesthetic. It's all cauldrons and spells and incantations and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And Hades 1 is not really that. So reasonable minds can differ. Your mileage may vary. Whatever you prefer as your, hey, do you like this better or worse? Just understand that this one is more witches and witchcraft, and the first one is not.
Which I like.
If you know the squeal that emerged from my witchy wife when she saw this character reveal and started diving in and seeing all the witchcraft and the tarot references, and oh my god, they know their audience here. They know exactly what they're doing. They're thirst trapping all these gamer ladies. I know exactly what's going on here.
I only played it briefly since hitting 1.0. I hadn't played it in years since the early access, but playing it in ultra wide on the PC, the art direction is stunning.
It's fantastic looking.
It is. It's just, I sat there last night and I was just like, good Lord, this game's gorgeous. And to your point, the fluidity of just everything from movement to combat to dashing to just all of that just feels almost perfect. I mean, it just feels like a game should feel to play. So Supergiant has crushed it again. It's now, obviously it's technically been out for a couple years, but 1.0 is one of the highest rated releases of the year. I don't think anyone's really surprised given the pedigree of Hades and Supergiant. So I can't wait to play this.
Every one of their games is amazing to me.
They're just a talented studio, man. Really.
Yeah, well, they were the ones that first put like narrative at the forefront of this kind of approach to making games. I mean, Bastion I played 4 times, 5 times, and from there they've only gotten better at it.
Yeah. What's the one that was after Bastion that I think is super underrated?
Oh, Lady in a Computer. It's not called Lady in a Computer.
I know. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was gonna say,
it's
I was like, did I miss
Bastion.
one of their games?
No, it's Bastion. They like these one-word names.
Oh, Transistor
right?
is what it's called. Yeah.
Lady in a Computer. I nailed it.
Yeah. No, you did nail it.
That's actually
you
the
saying
subtitle.
Lady in a Computer, that's what reminded me what the game was called. So it actually did work.
Yeah, okay. It's Bastion, Lady in a Computer, Pyre. I really like Pyre. I think Pyre's their most underrated game.
I don't think I played Pyre.
Pyre is super good. It is very underrated.
Pyre is a sports game with a Supergiant narrative grafted onto it in a fantasy world.
That's an interesting way of describing that, but I'll take it.
It is, though.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, I don't
Pyre
think I played this
yeah,
one.
Pyre I think is their most underrated game. It doesn't get nearly as much love as their other games, but I would say it's like easily a 9.
Yeah, now they're
on Steam,
and then Hades is when they said, well, we do all this writing and we do all this narrative, and indies are making all their hay with this roguelike approach to making games. What if we grafted those things together? Hades is a huge success. I think this might be their first sequel. If I'm thinking about this correctly, I think there's an expansion to Transistor. But Hades 2, the only thing that I could even see possibly going wrong with it is that if they keep layering on systems on top of what they've already shown me, it could get to be a little bit much.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, awesome. Yeah, big congrats to that team over there, and cannot wait to put a lot more time into that one. So I'm really excited, honestly, to buy the physical one on the Switch too, as well. So awesome. What else you guys got in terms of currently playing? Because we've obviously got a lot to talk about with PlayStation State of Play and TGS, but any other games you want to call out?
Well, I mean, do you want a Hogs Notes or do you want a more generalized what I'm playing?
Hit us. Surprise.
Because on what I'm playing, I'm mostly playing Trails in the Sky first chapter. I've talked about this now in a couple of weeks. This is going to be very high on my games of the year kind of calculation. I love Trails. I love Legend of Heroes. This is such a smart design that they've put together for this remake. I've already said this, but I just keep playing it, just keep having a great time, and I cannot recommend it more if you like JRPGs at all. So I've been playing that a ton. We talked about Hades 2 and Silent Hill F. My Hogs Notes here are unique. I actually think I've got something that's probably weirder than Baby Steps, which I've been enjoying, but can't actually recommend to anyone. It's certainly not a recommendable video game. It might be a recommendable art project, entertainment experience thing. But if you haven't heard of this, check out Blippo Plus.
Oh, we previewed it. I played it at Summer Game Fest.
That's my favorite subscription service.
Which is essentially a full motion video game that pretends that you are in the late 80s and early 90s, going and finding random channels on your cable box and flipping between them before weird things start happening on the news. But if you're imagining this and you're thinking, oh, that sounds like an interesting setup, take your expectations down like 6 notches. This is like your favorite improv group, or what I used to refer to as campus television, which was like the actor kids that would put together skits and put them on your free channel when you were at the college that I went to. And imagine that as being a video game. You'll get an inkling as to what Blippo Plus is. But my kids and I have been having fun watching this thing, and it is one of the stranger experiences that I've played in my history of games. I want to recommend it to people, but I can't. So here we are. Blippo Plus is a thing that exists. You can see for yourself whether it sounds like something that you might be interested in. It's strangely compelling to watch kind of the plot progress as part of these various ridiculous television shows. All of them are about 1 or 2 minutes long, so you don't have to spend too much time in them. But they really hold to this kind of meta reality that the premise of this is that you have tapped into a cable channel or a cable network that is from another planet across the galaxy, and they find out at the same time that they're accidentally sending it to you. and all of the things that go with that. But it is ridiculous. It is kind of low budget. Like I like my FMV in video games, but I cannot recommend it whole hog to anybody in particular.
You know that this was originally made for the small portable system.
The Playdate, yes.
Yeah, the Playdate. We actually met with the developer of this game at Summer Game Fest. So Ray talked to him and played it and did a short preview of this before it released because it just came out on the Switch and something else, right? Steam, maybe?
Steam, yeah. It's on Steam and Switch.
Yep. But yeah, it's definitely unique, to your point. So again, it's cool to see, to Travis's earlier point, it's cool to see developers just thinking outside the box of like, what else can we do in this kind of experience game land? And it's pretty wild. So
well, people get on my case for calling the Sam Barlow games video games, right? Immortality, Her Story, Telling Lies. I've had people say those aren't video games, Rick. If you think those games aren't video games, we actually have to figure out how to progress the plot and where things are secrets and kept. This is like a couple of notches less video game than that. You really are just clicking through channels, and when you have watched enough of the channels that are available on any given like session, you will get a email in your like TV guide channel that says you've got a new packet available, and then they will update all the channels, and you can go and watch like the next week's progression, which I imagine happened on the Playdate with updates, because the Playdate automatically updates its games every once in a while for you when you have that system. I imagine this was rolled out that way, where they would just do an update every week and you'd get the new packet. On Switch, or I imagine on Steam, you just get that when you watch enough of the programs. So it's all put together and you don't have to wait out a real-time deadline. But it is strangely compelling. It is awful. And it is good fun. But you'll know better than I do about whether or not this would even possibly ever work for you.
Yeah. So check out the trailer. Check out our preview if you want to know more about this before you go and buy it, because it's definitely unique and it's it's something. Awesome. And by the way, for anyone listening, that's Blippo Plus. So it's one word, Blippo with a plus sign. It's not like Blippo, comma, plus. It's all one. So. All right.
You can watch my new sitcom where I play Wolverine on Blippo Plus.
You could subscribe. That is exactly the kind of thing that you would find on Blippo Plus, by the way.
Exactly.
Is Travis in a dress shirt that looks like Wolverine's costume.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm working on a review right now, but it's a mock review, so I will never talk about it. So I'm playing some stuff that's not out yet. That's my life right now.
I didn't know they let IGN reviewers do mock reviews.
Yeah, you can do mock reviews. You just need to then, abstain from covering that game if and when it comes out. So yeah,
okay.
I'll do these things occasionally, and when I do, I just let my editor know that like I mock reviewed that game, and then I can't review it IRL. Sometimes you get cool games, sometimes you get lame games that never see the light of day, and sometimes it's just like really underbaked, but they're fun. It's a interesting, different part of the process. That's also a lot more lucrative than writing reviews for IGN. So it's cool.
Gotcha.
All right. Cool. Well, then can I take Travis's slot and have one more Hogue Note, Ains? I know we're already running over.
Go ahead.
All right. So I think folks probably know this about me, but I really like the roguelike time super simple game formula that has popped out from Balatro on. I've got a game that I play a lot of called Peglin, which takes the concepts of Peggle and slaps them into a roguelike game where you're traveling through a fantasy world. But there's a demo out this week that has become one of my obsessions that I really, really love on Steam called Slots and Daggers, which is a slot machine that you're filling the wheels up with different like symbols to do different things like swing with a sword or hit with a poison dagger or shield yourself or heal yourself or all these things. And you're fighting these monsters as you go through a roguelike progression. And I want to recommend it primarily because this game does such a good job of just feeling good to play. It feels like it has all the bells and whistles and sound effects of a slot machine so that you feel it when the lights go off and everything happens, that you're doing a good thing even though you're just hitting the button, just like all the zombies that are pulling the handle at the slot machine. But I really think it's a good model, and I think people should check it out. It's only a demo right now. I don't even think it has a release date, But if that sounds good to you, that's the last thing I want to recommend. And then we can move on with the rest of our conversation.
Yeah, I saw this one. We got a PR email about it. But there's just so many now, so I hadn't actually looked at it. This looks pretty cool, and there's no release date. You're right. It does say coming to PC later this year, so I guess it is launching before the end of the year, assuming they hit that, of course. But
it seems pretty done in terms of design. It's just a matter of how much they have left to program, because the demo only has a couple monsters and a couple of symbols.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool, very cool. All right. Well, let's jump over and reminder, shout out to the 150 hanging out with us here today. So appreciate you swinging by. We're going to get into state of play and TGS. Just a reminder to tickle Google's buttons, hit those likes, hit those shares, help us out a little bit. We'd appreciate it. Let's start with the state of play, guys, considering that's our cover story this week. And even though I put Wolverine on the cover, it's not the game I want to talk about, but we'll start with it anyway. So Insomniac finally shows Wolverine. A lot of speculation about this one since they did the little tease a few years ago now. We finally get to see gameplay. My own personal opinion, I'm excited to play it, but it's not like one of my most hyped games. It's Wolverine. It's Insomniac. I'm sure it will be good. It looks bloody. It looks gory. It looks fun. Very action heavy. But other than that, it's not doing a whole lot for me personally. But where do you guys sit? Because Hogue, we can talk about Spider-Man 2 story separately, but I know generally speaking, you really like Spider-Man, right?
And Spider-Man 2018 was one of my favorite games of the year. I loved Spider-Man Miles Morales. I love Insomniac as a company for the most part, but their last release is Spider-Man 2, which is probably my biggest disappointment of the generation. So looking at this game, you said we got gameplay as an example. Kind of, maybe we did. We got a Wolverine slicing and dicing people. We didn't really get what that might look like as part of our experience gameplay wise, but we didn't just get renderings or anything like that. Wolverine is a lesser character to me than Spider-Man. It's less interesting to me to explore, and nothing in this little preview suggested that I should get really excited about this. I'm already kind of over the Marvel paradigm, period.
And me too.
And this game looks fine. I agree with you, Ains. Insomniac is to be trusted on delivering good gameplay and probably a pretty exciting world to run around in. But they also delivered Spider-Man 2. Can't get around how bad that was.
So for me, I grew up loving Punisher and Wolverine, so Wolverine interests me more than Spider-Man. But obviously, we have to see in terms of story. There's a lot of ways you could go with Logan, Wolverine, X-Men, and where this is going to sit and what their story they're going to tell, what villains they're going to have. But Travis, where are you at on these games, man? I don't really recall your current feelings on the superhero games or Wolverine as a character or anything like that.
I'm not super interested in licensed games. Generally speaking, I think you usually have to operate inside of a box that I don't like games to operate into. And then you have the side effect of a lot of those games end up doing my least favorite thing, which is video games parroting Hollywood and just trying to do that. I was pleasantly surprised that it's as gory and violent as it is. I thought that they probably would default to just a blood-free Spider-Man type situation. So I think that part is a little interesting. It's also pretty different from what we've seen Insomniac games do. So it's a little bit of them getting out of their comfort zone from what I can tell. Meh. I didn't really see anything that blew me away. It's whatever. It's a Marvel character. He's slicing things up. It's very cinematic. It's anybody who knows me knows that these are the types of games I'm least interested in seeing more of, just generally. I'm more of a baby steps guy myself, real gaming. I don't know. It's just not my vibe, man.
Well, and I think that they were overcommitting to the goriness, right? It seemed like the entire purpose of that preview was let's watch the claws go through some skin. It's this is what we're going to deliver. It's great. I don't care one way or the other. You could have delivered it Spider-Man style. You could have delivered it like you have shown us here. That was not what I care about. Obviously, they think some of the audience cares about that. I think the internet
a lot of the
response suggests that they are right in that.
Yeah.
But that's not the preview for me. Tell me why I should care about this thing. And that preview didn't do that. I don't care about you having drinks with the voice actor. I don't care about all these various things that you put on my screen. And so I hope it's great. It's glad to know that it's still being worked on. But it's not Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man is such a more interesting character to me that I just don't see how I can get excited about this particular project.
Okay. Yeah, I do like the I did like that they showed the kind of mature rating or whatever you want to call it around the blood and gore, because that is Wolverine part of his character. But to your point, I wish they would have kind of focused a little more on here's the story of Wolverine we're telling. Wolverine's been around a long time, like most of these old school heroes. There's a lot of different stories and ways you could, or pick in what this game is going to be. We really didn't get a whole lot of that. So, yeah, I'm curious to see more. But
I would have been way more interested in this game if it took place during the Civil War, which Logan canonically fought in. That would be way more interesting to me.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's so much.
Which side did Logan fight on?
I'll let you decide that, Hope.
I don't know the comics well enough.
He fought on the north.
What's
side.
known as the right side.
Yeah, the right. He fought. Yeah, let's just leave it vague. He fought on the right side of history. Yeah.
Now I just imagine a right versus left American Civil War, not politically, just literally the East versus the West.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like an old school gangster rapper.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the actual game show, which was Sorrowos.
Yep. You're right, Ains.
My hype for this game instantly elevated to probably my most anticipated game. Battlefield 6 is around the corner. We're going to remove that one. But after that, it is 100% Sorrowos now, bar none. This looks like Returnal expanded. Returnal's already an incredible game. Housemarque in terms of mechanics, kind of shooter mechanics, movement. They nail that stuff. This looks so damn good. I've watched that trailer multiple times now. I cannot express my excitement for Sorrowos, and it's not even that far away given gaming releases. We got a release date of March 20th, so can't wait. This is easily going to be up there, assuming they hit the mark we expect them to for my game of the year next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest issue with the Sorrowos reveal is it looks like Returnal again.
Yeah,
but Returnal, I think, probably is my favorite game of the generation. Certainly my favorite new intellectual property game
IP
of the generation.
Okay.
So there are worse things than being Returnal again. That's the biggest concern that I have with it. But I agree with you entirely, Ains. This was by far the best looking thing at the show. And it's not that far off into the distance, we don't think, if it doesn't get a 6-month delay.
Sure.
But everybody's really scared about GTA 6, so everybody's going to be trying to hold to those spring releases if they can. And I think there's a lot of reason to get excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I think what they showed of the new mechanics, obviously building on Returnal, excite me. It looks like it's going to be an even bigger challenge, which obviously excites me. And obviously it looks really stunning. I'm kind of curious, I'm indifferent about having a real actor play the main character. That doesn't do anything for me personally. I like Raul, but I don't care. But I'm kind of curious about the story they'll tell, because for those who didn't finish Returnal,
yeah, they got to tighten up the storytelling a little, I think.
Yeah, it was the meaning of the story was very strong, but the way in which it was told was a little disjointed. Didn't really detract from the game too much for me, but I hope they fill that in a little better. We'll see.
Yeah, it was their first crack at really telling a story in anything that they've done.
Kind of a meaningful thing. Yeah. Travis, what'd you think?
Yeah, looks cool. Very talented studio. Gave me a little bit of Souls vibe with that boss introduction.
Don't you start
at the door?
Don't you
Did it not
start?
They
did that. They did that in Returnal, though.
Was it that kind of? It was very like dark fantasy, walking through a door. You know what I mean? Like it was just
they did cinematic intros.
Yeah,
they did. The organ.
They got freaking organs playing "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Maybe I need to replay Returnal.
Trust me, they had those cinematic intros in Returnal. Yeah.
All I remember Returnal is walking around my home. You guys remember that part?
That's
I do remember
that's the thing they didn't put in any trailers. But outside of that, they definitely had some big old boss introductions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the fantasy vibe of the introductions, just like I think I looked up from something and I was like, oh, is this a FromSoft game? You know, the creature that came out of the door with all the skulls or whatever it was, and then they had like hands over their eyes. I was like, oh, is this like from? And I went, oh, this is the Housemarque game. So that was
I'm pretty sure those are heads, not skulls. Ains, you've watched this trailer multiple times.
Hogue, actually, heads all have skulls in them. So
Right, I'm just saying that they are not. It's not a Warhammer throne. It's heads.
Yeah. Living skulls. That's what we'll call them. Living skulls.
Fleshed skulls. Skulls. Fully decorated, insulated skulls.
But yeah, March 20th for Sorrowos, and yeah, we'll obviously be talking a lot more about that one when it comes along. Couple other things to call out. I obviously don't want to do a full rundown. They did show a little bit of Zero Parades, which is the follow-up to Disco Elysium.
The company that made Disco separated into like 17 factions, and there's like 5 successors coming.
Yeah, it was an anti-capitalist studio that was devoured by capitalism. It's very funny.
It seems to have been devoured by selfishness and greed. I don't know whether you want to characterize that as solely a capitalistic tendency.
I would say it was, it's just very funny. The practice what you preach nature of it really cracks me up. Like, well, I mean, as soon as they got a taste of success, they were like, actually, let's kill each other over this money.
That's not wrong. And this is what I would caution my clients about forming collectives about, which is to say you want some pretty stringent guidelines around what happens during a success condition. Hey, let's pretend Disco Elysium makes us hundreds of millions of dollars. What happens then? Well, they didn't have a plan.
They found out.
Yeah, I mean, not that you should expect success, but I mean, even we had that conversation. Like, what if we became internet sensations? What would we do with that? We did
at a base level,
We had a base level.
We don't have to really worry about that.
That studio reminds me of the moment in the like treasure hunting movie where they all have the treasure and then suddenly they start turning on each other, like that moment where they have like a little Mexican standoff around the treasure. People are already starting to plot. That's what that studio reminds me of. It's very
which is funny. To say that Zero Parades for Dead Spies, or whatever the full title is the successor that comes from the hollowed out shell of the company that made Disco Elysium. That's all true, but the creative minds that made Disco Elysium are all bringing out like 4 or 5 other games. So I don't actually know which one is going to be the good one. Hopefully there is the good one out of all of this. But this sure looks like Disco. You just worry that it looks like Disco because that's what the husk of the company made before, and whether or not whatever made Disco interesting is going to live in this product afterwards.
Yeah. It is an unknown. I absolutely adore Disco Elysium.
It's very good.
As sad cop, I don't know what type of cop you guys were at. I
usually go psychedelic. Sorry, not
sad. Sorry, I was sorry cop. I was just sorry about everything. I also own the necktie, the hideous necktie from that game.
I'm sure you do.
Nice.
I have it. Yeah.
Nice. You got to wear it next week. I'll remind you.
I should. Yeah. I've actually never worn it because it doesn't really go with anything. I don't know, you guys know.
No, I always jack up the stat that lets me talk to inanimate objects. I think it's Inland Empire. And just go crazy with my conversations.
I can't remember. I've started that game a couple times.
I can't remember what I did, but that game is really damn good.
It's very cool. Yeah.
I almost reviewed that.
It's very disco.
Damn. It is very disco.
So we'll see what comes of that. To Hoag's point,
I'd be surprised if lightning struck twice.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I think one of these will be good. We're gonna have 700 bites at the apple.
Yeah, that's fair. One that should be good, obviously, if you like this sort of game, is Neo 3. We got the latest look at that, which is now has a release date, February 6th. So I know, Neo has been a success, but I think for people like myself who enjoy these games, I'm hit or miss on Neo. I like aspects of it. I don't like other aspects of it. I'm hopeful that Neo 3 going a little more broader landscape, kind of open exploration. That's my type of thing. So I'm hoping I like this one more than the others. But you got a very Neo-esque trailer here in this state of play. So I would imagine if you liked Neo 1 and 2, this one's going to be right up your alley.
Well, don't you like it just that it's more linear than other like Souls-like
That
games?
was what I disliked about 1 and 2. There were closed areas that you explored one by one, and this one they're going bigger, like connected world, more like a From game.
I just have to remind myself that I have Kazan at home.
Yeah, you do have Kazan.
That the Yeti is not the end of the game. That there's hundreds of hours of content.
Not even the end of the demo.
Not even the end of the demo, as you remind me so often.
Almost every show.
And then I don't need to buy one of these because I really like Kazan, and any of these new ones is unlikely to hit me in a better place than Kazan does. So just get off my butt and go play more of that.
Yeah. What else did we get? We got to look at Code Vein 2, which is actually a game I got to sit in. I think I mentioned from Summer Game Fest. So that one is looking to expand quite a bit around the first as well. Another game that I dabbled with, but it really didn't do a lot for me in terms of level design and combat mechanics. So we'll see. They look to be expanding it. We'll see how successful they are.
I miss the cell shading. I do.
Okay.
It would be like buying the next Borderlands and having it be photorealistic. It's weird.
I do think it removes one of the main things it had going for it, which is like a unique like look to the genre. So
yeah, it did try to be different, that first one. Yeah, in that vein. They got a couple. Well, before I get to that, they showed the first look at the campaign for Battlefield 6, which is my least anticipated part of Battlefield 6. So I didn't really care about that. But
yeah, I feel bad for the campaign makers in those types of games because it's like you've got so many failures in the history of making these things that you could make a really good one, and I would probably not know that you did because I've already dismissed it.
IGN's doing separate reviews for the campaign. And
I think that's the right focus. I think that's
which is something we started doing because of exactly what you're talking about, Hogue, which is like there's an entire group of people that cares just about the multiplayer and just wants to know how that is. And then also there's people like me who are weird and usually like play the story primarily. I weirdly, I think we have a reviewer on the campaign and not on the multiplayer. I've been considering signing up for the multiplayer just because I kind of got bit with my preview. There was one thing we didn't talk about last week, Ains, was that I have played a whole bunch of Battlefield 6 for
because you were under NDA.
Some kind of legal restriction.
Actually, last Sunday I just forgot to talk about it. My preview was already out. I just forgot to bring it up.
But yeah, we do the same thing, obviously, with far fewer readers, but it does make the most sense to do that. And there's certain players prefer, to your point, campaigns versus like me, who's going to go very deep on the multiplayer. And obviously there's a big battle royale in this too, which has its own, obviously it's multiplayer, but it's a different type of mechanic. So we'll see how this goes. But anyway, they also showed a couple of hardware pieces, which I guess were unexpected. You got Pulse Elevate wireless PC speakers coming. If there's one thing I didn't expect to see at the state of play, it was maybe that. But I'm oddly interested just because I game on PC with speakers. So we'll see. But I don't know how big the market is for something like that.
I think the most important thing about that announcement, we know Sony is a hardware company first. But the most important thing about that announcement is their continued buy-in to the PC environment, right?
Yes, correct.
That they've been moving over out of the PlayStation box under the TV, not in the same way that Microsoft has been, but certainly bringing more things to PC, and this connects that even more. Sure, they show the dongle with the PlayStation 5, but that's not really what this is about.
No.
And so I think that's interesting that they put this in a state of play where they've got the most eyeballs on them. Let's talk about some PC hardware. All right, Sony.
Yeah. And they didn't announce a price either. I'm very curious to see what they go with on this one. Because the technology they're talking about within the units that they show in the dedicated trailer and everything is not super cheap technology. So I would imagine it's going to be kind of costly. They also showed, which I think made me laugh out loud, if I'm honest with you guys, a God of War controller. They did like a 30-second shove in the middle before Wolverine preview for the 20th anniversary of one of their biggest IPs. And they showed a controller that looked like someone had drawn on a DualSense with a marker. I was very confused about this.
If you think Sony has limited effort in their first-party offerings this generation, this did not change your mind.
That's about the kindest way you could frame that, I think, at all.
My daughter asked me, why does it have red on the side? We're watching this. I'm like, well, I think that's Kratos' face. but it was ridiculous. Then she said, well, why didn't they do more? I said, well, I'm holding my Concord controller here. If they do more, they're worried that their games are going to die in 2 weeks. I still love my Concord controller, by the way. The legacy of Concord sits in my hand.
The best what?
Custom controller.
Well, I think the Yote ones are pretty impressive, certainly compared to the God of War one.
Do you mean on PS5 or at all?
Just in general, yeah.
The best custom controller.
Steel Battalion.
I mean, like branded, not like, Steel Series.
I know what you mean. Yeah, Steel Battalion. The Sea of Thieves one would be up there. I
would like to submit the Gears of War 4 one that had the claw marks in it. That controller's sick as hell.
The Starfield one is awesome.
Is he going to get it, or did he just leave the show? Do we know?
he got pissed off because we didn't.
You pissed me off with Gears. I hate Gears. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there's the 4, and there's the 5. So
those are
really
nice.
Good.
The Gears 5 one is the gray one.
Yeah, because they did the ice theme in Gears 5. Remember?
Oh, that's way less cool. Here, show the close up of the 4
with the
one,
claws across the buttons.
The claws in it. I mean, that's a cool ass. And it's not just like painted claws, like they're actually dug in.
They use a laser to do it. They did it on the console too. Like they showed a video of how they did it. And Xbox always, whether you like Xbox or PlayStation, doesn't matter. Xbox puts way more effort into their like licensed devices than Sony does. Sony's really bad at it.
I also have the Elite 2 Halo controller, which I think is really cool. The one that looks like Master Chief's armor.
I have that as well. Yeah, that's a good one. The Gears Elite is a great one too. Xbox does this way better. They just do. On PlayStation,
I quietly say I really like my Concord controller.
I like.
Yeah. Hey, that is
actually
an antique, bro. That is an antique. That might be worth something someday.
That's the legacy of Concord.
It's worth something right now. It's worth more than double what it was originally. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hold on to it. It'll go into the Sweet Baby Inc. Museum or something. I don't
know. But anyway, this state of play I don't know about you guys. Overall thoughts, it didn't do a whole lot for me. Sorrowos was the clear winner. That's really mostly what I cared about. There's obviously some other games that were shown.
But, we skipped a whole lot of junk, but it was just junk.
I'll go with filler.
Yeah. Filler, junk, whatever.
Filler, I hardly know her. No? Nobody like
In
that?
any event, yeah, I thought the state of play was pretty bad.
Yeah, it didn't do much for me. Just you could have given me the Sorrowos as an independent trailer, and I would have been just as happy.
Yeah, well, give me a 40-minute Sorrowos deep dive like you did with the Kirby Racer. I know we don't have Sakurai over at Team Sony, but I would love to see a deeper dive into Sorrowos.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the state of play. Let us know something else. Obviously, it's worth calling out. We did get the Ghost of Yote reviews came out. Seems to be really beloved. It is
super strong
rating. Yeah, so it's very high 80s, right around a 9, generally speaking. And a lot of the ones I've read from people I know and trust generally say that it is a better told story, a better protagonist, and better world generally to play through than Tsushima, which is good. Great.
Yeah, I agree with those are the vibes of the reviews. I'm actually surprised at that. I thought there would be a fall off of some kind because I think Tsushima has a good story for one of these Sony over-the-shoulder open world action adventure type games. I wound up really liking the finale of that game in particular. And basically, every reviewer says this is a stronger story with better characterization. So I am hopeful for it. I wasn't excited about this project at all until I saw some of these reviews say that kind of thing. And so I am looking forward to it. I hope it doesn't suck, gentlemen.
Sadly, I would have jumped on this on day one, but I'm still addicted to Borderlands, which I didn't even talk about.
I'm playing that as well.
With Battlefield coming, like Silent Hill F, Chronos, Hades 2. There's too many games. Like I'm just gonna wait on Goats because I know I'm not gonna put the time into it right now. So I did get the plates for my PS5 Pro though, the gold ones. Hell with it.
The gold plates.
The what?
You got the gold plates for PS5 Pro, you 1%er. Why don't you go buy 3 of those Xbox Series X ROG Allies, you rich some bitch?
Actually, only one of the 3 of us bought that, and it ain't me.
Yeah, it was Hogue. Crazy decision by Hogue to pull that out.
I'm busy asking Travis whether I should spend $18 on baby steps, but I'm dropping 1,000 on the other line.
Yeah, you were like, does baby steps run on the ROG Ally Series X? And I was like, no, Hogue, it's PlayStation exclusive. You're like, I'll buy it anyway. I'll buy that in Silent Hill F.
Yeah, and he's like, whatever, $20, $1,100, same thing. Well, on that note, we can jump over to some TGS stuff where pre-orders did go live for the ROG Ally S and X, the Xbox branded ones. 600 and 1,000, which I saw a whole bunch of the insiders saying it wouldn't be 1,000, so they're crushing it as always. But here we are, $1,000, and one person on the show did order
Actually,
one, and he likes to wear ties. I don't know if you can pick out who that is, but yes.
All right, Hogue, tell us about it. Why'd you get it?
Travis, I'm really curious about why you got it, honestly. You went out and pre-ordered this as soon as you saw the price drop?
I did.
He's like,
look,
bargain.
it's not my ideal price. Obviously, it should be 3 or 4 times more expensive, so that it's less attainable to the plebes and the proles of.
I'm assuming you mean that you would like the tech to be 3 or 4 times as powerful, and you'd be willing to pay that much.
No.
You just want to pay more for what is already in the box.
Yeah, if possible, please. No, all jokes aside. Yeah, $1,000 is a lot. Thankfully, I have a job that lets me not pay for this stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. That's a work expense right there. So don't take my purchase as an endorsement. But I do think I will probably be the only one at IGN to have one of these things, which affords some unique opportunities to review games on dedicated hardware and that sort of thing. I'm also a device freak. I have all the devices. Like I have the regular ROG Ally. I've got 2 Steam Decks, got the PlayStation Portal. I just have these things because I have to, as a condition of my job. If I want to review a game, I have to be willing and ready to say, and here's how it runs on the portable device. So, like with Baby Steps, for example, played a little bit of that on my Steam Deck because it is Steam Deck certified. So you gotta be prepared.
They are good to have handy to that point. You're right.
Yeah, it is. And also I feel like it makes me a little bit more thorough in my reviews, which I'm a little obsessive about. I actually am interested in this one. I have a pretty robust library on Xbox just because they're the platform I've made a lot of my like purchases on over the years. And so I think the price is bad. The hardware looks good. So we'll see if it actually runs. And then my big question mark is, will it have compatibility to my satisfaction? And that is the $1 million question, because I think it's the thing that every other device so far has completely failed at. And so if they can be compatible with the vast majority of games that you own on Xbox and run them well on a portable device, it could be a game changer. There's also the question of battery life. My ROG Ally's battery life is pretty decent. My Steam Deck's battery life, both of them last about 4 minutes unplugged before they die. So there's that question. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this will do, and it costs me nothing to try it, so I'm in a very unique situation. But would I recommend the average person play this or buy this thing? Not yet. I haven't put my hands on it, but my guess is $1,000 is probably too much, even if it's amazing. Even if it's great,
you're going to have more fun with the Switch 2.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, and I heard someone on our Discord, because there's a lot of conversation about this, make a fair point. I think it might have been Eric, actually, which we got a super chat we got to get to, but he said, it feels like people are forgetting the S exists, right? Which is 600. So there is a huge gap in price between the X and the S. Now, I think the obvious question is, okay, but how does the S run games? Is it like a base Steam Deck? We don't really know all these answers yet.
It is more powerful than the Switch 2, worth noting. The series, the S version.
The S
is more powerful than the Switch 2, which is pretty funny. I mean, it is more expensive than the Switch 2 as well, so I would hope so. But it's worth noting that like people that are already bought into the Switch 2's relative power in the mobile market might be better served by just getting the S, and I'll be interested to see how those go. I didn't get the S version, so
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of the Switch is the native ecosystem that the games just run. It's just a Nintendo. You're playing those games. The problem I have with all of these kind of quasi portable licensed out mechanisms is that you're undoubtedly going to go through a Windows prompt screen at some point. You're going to have to deal with figuring out how it works. The Steam Deck has its own kind of niggles to figure out. And the Switch 2 is really, I want to play a video game. Here's a dock. Your TV will now show the game. Everything is all set up for you. You can take it out. You can watch your football game while you play it in your hands. That's the beauty of that system. So yeah, it's not as powerful as either of these, but these are essentially little PCs that you're going to be dealing with all the PC stuff around.
Yeah,
that's why I think Xbox UI is the most important thing for this device. Is that what you're going to say, Travis?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if this game feels like the ROG Ally or even the Steam Deck, I mean, I know people love the Steam Deck, but my biggest problem with the Steam Deck is its compatibility, because it doesn't work on 80% of the games I want to play. They just haven't come up with the compatibility for that yet. And if this is a similar experience, I'm going to be pretty annoyed, because to me, it should feel like the Switch. I think the Switch is the gold standard, and it's because they built their entire ecosystem around just this one device. And I think when you have your ecosystem built to streaming games and PC games and an Xbox console, and then you also have this other thing on it, you risk it just feeling like it's not part of the same ecosystem. And the fact that it's made by a third-party company also makes me scared of that. It's not even made by Xbox, right? It's this other company that they're partnering with. And so there's a pretty good chance I turn this thing on, it doesn't feel like an Xbox. I have immediately a bunch of compatibility issues with the games that I want to play. And then I turn the thing off and I go, God damn it. But this is the gamble you take. And if it turns out to not be that, and I'm able to open up all my Xbox games and play them, which I will say, Xbox, for all of its faults, and there are numerous, it is where it is in the market for a reason. The one thing that they have been good at lately is letting you play your games wherever you want to. And so if it ends up feeling like that on this portable device, it could for sure win me over, because that is my biggest problem with all of the other devices right now, except for the Switch 2.
They are the best at that. Yeah, I mean, their ecosystem, technology wise, we've talked about that, is the best. So I'm curious. Obviously, I've only talked to people who, I've talked to Jason about this, and he's had it forever because he built the damn thing with Asus, Jason Ronald. And I've seen the influencers or the people that cover Xbox play this, like Xbox Era, our friends over there. But it's hard to get a real feel for what this thing's going to be like. So I'm very curious for your take when it arrives, of like, not only the ergonomics, because it's supposed to feel really, really nice to hold and play, which would be nice because it's got built-in handles. But I'm really, really curious about the Xbox UI, because realistically, and not to get us too off track here, but what we talked about of where Xbox is going in their next console, and I use air quotes, is this. It feels like this Xbox UI, this slimmed down Windows UI that's made for Xbox, is where the console is going to go to incorporate the things we've seen on Xbox PC, like your Steam storefront, your Epic storefront, your other launchers, and kind of bringing that all together. So seeing how that functions on this device, I think, is almost like a preview of where Xbox hardware generally is going in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, the biggest thing for me, no surprise, Forza Horizon 6, the rumors were real. They did announce Forza Horizon 6 formally. It is taking place in Japan. There were rumors ahead of time they were going to do that at TGS, so that's pretty cool. Not too much on this one yet, just a tease. It's coming in 2026, no release date. They did say it's going to be Xbox and PC only at launch. The PS5 version will come later, no date or no timeline either on that one. But Forza Horizon 5, as I said many, many times, is, in my opinion, the best overall racing game ever made. If they can continue that trend with 6, which I hope they can, and really take advantage of the beautiful scenery and possibilities for Japan as a setting. Obviously, I think we're all agreeing. Everyone I've seen has been like, this could be the next greatest racing game of all time. So we'll see. Playground hasn't really missed with these yet. So
I know Japan's a great pick. I personally, from a business perspective, found this the most interesting because this is the first time we formally saw them announce a timed exclusive kind of strategy. So it was unclear. Yes. It was unclear before now exactly why Indiana Jones was coming out later than it did on 1, whether they had kind of changed direction and changed plans, and that would explain why it was only developed on one side and not the other. It does appear like Microsoft is formalizing this kind of however long it's going to be between the releases, that you still want to go get it if you want it day one from the Xbox ecosystem, and then they will only bring it over later at some point. The same way Sony uses the PC, or has historically in the past. So I thought that was the most interesting. Japan's a fantastic pick for the game, obviously.
Great.
And I think this is great. This is also is kind of a proof of concept for Playground developing 2 games at once, right? They're doing Fable and they're doing Forza Horizon 6. We knew that Fable was slowing up the Horizon series a little bit because 6 should have been out a couple of years ago if they were on the same cadence they were on before.
Correct.
5, right? So this will be a proof that they can run both those things at once. We don't know how Fable's going to turn out. We don't know how Forza Horizon 6 is going to turn out, though I think you can bet it'll be pretty good.
Yeah. And they talked about a focus on the varying experiences that Japan offers, obviously, but also the focus on Japanese car culture, which, if they do correctly, would be very, very cool. So yeah, I'm just really, I love these games. I play these ad nauseum, so I can't wait. Excited for
Travis
that one.
is just getting excited for the Tokyo Drift DLC, right?
Yeah, I mean, they actually have done a Fast and Furious crossover in Forza Horizon before. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I have every achievement in that, jokes aside. And
Yeah.
I'm not an achievement guy, but I 100%ed that.
Yeah, well, I told you guys my relationship with the last Forza game, which was on the Wiki team. It was one of my only times I helped the Wiki team out, so I'm very familiar with that game. I'll be honest, Japan does nothing for me as a setting, just because I've seen it in every game for the past 5 years. People are obsessed with Japan. I went there for my honeymoon. I must say, I'm over Japan. It's not that great of a country. I'll be honest with you guys. It's whatever. Okay? It's whatever. It's fine.
This is our shortcut this week. We're going to cut
this
out.
It was standing up our little hobby industry for a long time.
Sure.
Yes, there is a lot of content in Japan. I still like Japan. I do think for what Horizon does, which is try to present a lot of different types of racing environments, I can definitely see slick neon streets and climbing Mount Fuji work in a Horizon game in a way that maybe not all the locations work.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like aesthetically, it is like pretty objectively a good setting for a racing game. There's like racing games all over. There's racing movies in Japan and games, and you get it. It's just that everyone is doing their Japan card the same time. Like the Assassin's Creed has had Japan in their pocket for like years, and they finally pulled it out in the same year that Forza is going to do it. And I'm just so over it, guys. I just don't. It's this tiny island that I've spent so much of my time going to high school in this country and racing in this country and fighting demons in this country. And I'm just like, bro, why?
That's where the demons live, Travis. You got to fight them there.
There's demons everywhere, Hogue.
So hard.
That's okay. People can boo me. Go for it. Go for it. I get why people like it. It's just so overdone. I'm allowed to be annoyed by it.
Yeah. Regardless, all signs point to this being an amazing game. So we'll see. A couple other things we got from TGS, and obviously there's all kinds of trailers and announcements and other things going on. But Crimson Desert was a very popular one for us in terms of like anticipated. It was up high on the SGF list. So we got a release date for that one. That's March 19th, which, if you're keeping track of our show, is one day before Sorrowos. So buy Crimson Desert. I'll talk to you later. But I hope that one's good. It definitely made a lot of waves at Summer Game Fest. There were queues to play it. It looked fantastic in motion. So if you forget what that one is, you can check it out. But that looks pretty cool. We got early 2026 for Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly remake. I just wanted to call that one out for our horror fans. Fatal Frame is a pretty classic franchise. Cool to see this one being fully remade. And they said in the interview that they are even adding locations that were not in the original. It is a remake. They're expanding the game, kind of maybe similar to what they try to do with RE, maybe not as extensive. But that one looks cool. And then on the Borderlands front, last night, actually, we got the tease for the first Borderlands expansion, which is coming in early 2026, called Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned. So anyone who's played Borderlands 4 knows what this means. This means Ellie from Borderlands 3 is coming back. It also means they're probably expanding with another vault on the map and maybe a new location. And they also tease the next Vault Hunter. They're adding 2 Vault Hunters to the game. This is the first one. His name is Cash, and he is a robot casino dealer turned a Vault Hunter. So he uses dice and cards and other things in that vein, which already has me fully bought in. He might be my favorite Vault Hunter ever if they build him well, depending on his skill set. So
there is so much Battleborn energy in Borderlands 4. I thank you very much for that, Gearbox. So much.
Battleborn. We mentioned Concord. We mentioned Battleboard.
That's right. All the things that Rick has lost.
I found my Anthem posters yesterday as I was having to clean stuff with the work going on. Good times.
No, I was thinking about this. I was playing Borderlands 4, and there's so much Battleborn and Agents of Mayhem, which are 2 games that I hold in high esteem that I've really enjoyed, that I think almost bankrupted their developers.
Yeah, Agents of Mayhem, man. That didn't land very well, did it?
No, it didn't. What happened, Volition? Oh, you're not around to ask anymore.
Nope. Yeah, too many good studios lost, man. And that's a good segue to where we're going next. But I got a couple super chats that have been sitting around. So sorry for the delay on this one, Eric. We got Game Positive.
Game Positive offers me $2.79 in Canadian bucks and writes, Wolverine's a Canadian icon, no slander tolerated. He is a Canadian icon, which is why it makes very little sense why he fought in the Civil War in America, but he did.
I just like that this was paid in Canadian dollars because I think that really completes the bit.
Yeah. Eric's up there in Nova Scotia, man. He's full on.
Oh, Jesus. Nova Scotia. Yeah. Christ.
Eric, thank you for the super chat. Painful Discourse is here.
Painful Discourse. 25 francs.
I think that's still Polish zloty, right?
It's Polish zloty. You said francs.
Yeah, it's a Prussian francs. I might not be a strategy by Xbox. I think it's it. It might not be a strategy by Xbox. Some reports suggest it is just a pipeline thing. If the studio has the bandwidth to do PlayStation port at launch.
Okay.
Not.
I thought we were talking about Xbox I thought we were talking about Xbox UI at first, and I was like, wait a minute. But no, I agree with Hogue. It is demonstrative of what we haven't seen in terms of a pre-game announcement and how they're going to structure this. But for all we know, it could just be a pipeline. As we rightfully said, they're developing Fable and this. Maybe they don't have the ability to port it right now. But
one thing Microsoft communications-wise does is they hold the cards as close to the vest as they can. So I think this is probably demonstrating their future strategy for these things. This will be the first of many that we see with a timed exclusive kind of concept. But they have the plausible deniability to say, look, it's hard to make multiple versions of a game at once, so we're going to advantage ourselves, and whatever pops out in terms of timing pops out. So, yes, those are both probably true at some level. They're okay with it being a strategy. They're also okay with it being an organic strategy that depends on what the resources of the studio are.
Yeah. I don't mind the timed exclusive thing. I think it's a good middle ground for them to get their money and also for everybody to be able to play the game. So I'm not too hurt by it. It's also sort of what PlayStation's already been doing. So,
yep, agreed. I mean, we saw that with Forza Horizon 5. The game was 4 years old when it released on PlayStation. So I think the quality of the game, obviously, as we always say, matters probably the most. And then just kind of figure out the strategy from there. I think it's been clear Xbox hasn't really known what their strategy was in this vein for a while, and they've kind of just thrown shit at the wall.
I'd be willing to bet they've got data that when they time exclusive, they sell copies to some players twice, because that's been Rockstar's playbook. Is they'll sell it to you on console and then they wait a year and then come out on PC and then they sell 2 copies to like everyone in the world.
I got 2 Horizon 5s, but I do note that the second Horizon 5 I got on a deep discount. When you're able to wait out discounts a lot better when it's the second copy, certainly.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Xbox will take your deeply discounted money. I mean,
they will. It's money they didn't have before.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, obviously other things at TGS you could check out, but that kind of closes that out. Before we start to wrap up, I did want to mention this came out this on Friday, actually. So not really any specific news too much. But if you didn't see the report out of Wall Street Journal saying EA is nearing a $50, yes, a $50 buyout.
I'll buy it. 60. I've outbid them. I've outbid the Saudis.
$50 billion, slight difference. Deal to go private. The only thing I pulled up this morning on this, just to make sure I had this right, is the investors reportedly include the private equity firm Silver Lake, potentially another one or two private equity firms, and the Saudi Public Investment Fund. The report says that we could expect an announcement on this deal as soon as Monday. So maybe tomorrow if you're listening to this, but we don't really know. But this would be, from what I could tell, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, for adjusted for inflation, of kind of deals in this vein. This is a wild one.
Well, I mean, I guess this is my perspective. I've done a lot of acquisitions in my career. I don't actually view a public to public transaction all that different from a private investor public transaction. So I know there's people saying this is a big deal because it's private enterprise buying these companies up now, and it's not just Microsoft, but it's not really that much different, right? Yes, you're going to be run by Savvy or PIF and Jared Kushner, which is strange for people thinking about Electronic Arts, but not so different from, okay, now you answer to Phil Spencer. To me, yes, you don't see as much in public filings, but if you've ever looked at Microsoft's public filings, you know you don't see much about what they buy either. They amalgamate everything into big old divisions, so you still can't see what Activision is doing for them inside just from their financials. So I think this is really interesting. It's another play for, hey, these game companies are going to be bought up by money that wants to invest in the games industry. The Saudis, with the Public Investment Fund or Savvy or anything in between, have been interested in diversifying into video games in all respects that we've seen for years and years and years. So this isn't that surprising other than the size of the investment. But I think it's very interesting. I might wind up doing a virtual legality about it if there's enough of interest. When I read through more of these materials, this is all just rumors and innuendo still right now.
Yes.
But I don't think it is this kind of apocalyptic ceiling falling in thing that I've seen it reported on in various corners of the internet, which is something I could probably say about all stories in our industry and others on the internet. But it will be interesting to follow, and I might do that in virtual legality.
Yeah. Kind of interesting timing too, with potentially their biggest IP in a while getting ready to release, not a week and a half from now, in Battlefield 6. So anyway, just we'll see what happens. Obviously, if anything happens this week, we'll talk about it more next week. But just wanted to shout that out because it just kind of came up on Friday. So with that, boys, I think that's going to wrap us up. Reminder to everyone, this week we get Mortal Kombat Collection. I know a lot of people are looking for it. We've had comments on that one. And Lego Party, I will shout out again if you're looking for a fun game to play with your kids or online with friends. It seems like it's going to be a blast. Go.
Objection to this list. So you've got Mortal Kombat Collection, you've got Lego Party, September 30th. Great day for games, but how in the world do we not mention that Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, is coming out on the same day? That is a huge release.
Because I know that you would mention it.
Oh, really? That's the understood. I like it. Yeah. I knew that Hogue would cover us at this next week games coming out section. I am so excited about that release. Final Fantasy Tactics is awesome. The team that helped bring Tactics Ogre to the modern era has brought this game to the modern era. And if you guys haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics, this is maybe the best story in all of Final Fantasy. So get excited now with the codex, now with a thing to bring you up to speed so that you don't have to just read everything. Now with voice acting, if you don't like reading at all or can't read, play Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't care if you can't read. You're going to love this game.
Fair enough. See? You did it better than I would, so that's why I leave it up to you for these sorts of things. And
September 30.
And of course, we get Ghost of Yotei this week as well on the latter half of the week on the 2nd. So more great games releasing on top of more great games that have already released.
Yeah,
seems to be the story of this year. So enjoy whatever you're playing, from Blippo Plus all the way to Ghost of Yotei and everything in between. I hope you're loving
that's every other game is in between those two.
Yeah, I tried to cast a wide net there. But let me have you guys do me a favor, if you would, and show me your wares.
Nice. You remembered. Oh,
All right. Well, my wares, I did another Reasonable Minds Can Differ, the second episode this week on Jimmy Kimmel and the freedom of speech. So if you're interested in those topics, I'm really enjoying this new format that we've rolled out on the channel. I'm still mostly not doing the standard stuff before that rollout, the virtual legalities and the Hangouts and Headlines. I tried to take September off because we're restructuring some things behind the scenes. But we'll see what comes up this next week. Might do something on Electronic Arts, might do another RMCD if something pops up where I think we can have a good conversation about it. But I'm excited about the new show, and I'm excited about how many people have already come in, popped their heads in, checked it out, and not just come into my comments to call me names about what we're talking about.
Teaching people about jawboning? Is that what we're doing?
I was traveling this week, Hogue. I'll work harder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on in. Call me names. Tell me how wrong I am. I appreciate it. Reasonable minds can differ.
Is that what we did this week? You're teaching people about jawboning?
About job hunting?
Jawboning.
What's a job? Oh, jawboning. Yes, I was talking about jawboning. Job owning was what I heard, and it's like, I don't understand.
They said job owning. I'm like, what's happening?
We talked a little bit about we talked a little bit about state actors. We talked a little bit about the FCC and what its role is and what it isn't, and public interest, as well as the Red Lion case of the 1970s. So if you're interested in any of those things, or if it was all just gobbledygook, help me decode some of that on Reasonable Minds Can Differ.
I'm more interested in job boning, honestly.
Job boning.
My fault too. Alex called me out on this. I mixed up my dates. Mortal Kombat Collection is not the 3rd. It is the 30th, but October 30th, not September. Whoa. So this week, be looking for Lego Party, Final Fantasy, and Ghost. So sorry about that.
Wow. Not only did you leave off Final Fantasy Tactics, you replaced it with a game that's not coming out that day or month. Ains.
Tired, man. I'm tired.
No, he's biased, bro. It's crazy.
It's all right. It's all right. I watched a lot of football this weekend already. I'm used to seeing biased calls.
I mean, Mortal Kombat Collection is more important than Final Fantasy Tactics anyway. So.
Damn, look at that. See, there, the truth comes out. There it is. There it is.
Ains, I swear, I think you'd really like Final Fantasy Tactics if you could get into it a little bit.
No, I own the original. I'm just messing around with you because I know how much you love it. But it is a fantastic game. It's considered. I mean, it's rightfully considered one of the greatest Final Fantasy games ever made. It's a brilliant game. So, Travis, go.
All right, my wares. You can baby steps me if you want. You can see that. Battlefield 6. I didn't talk about that a lot last weekend, but
But where can people see these things, Travis?
They can see them on IGN.com or our YouTube channel. And I don't have much else to... you can watch my Wolverine sitcom where I'm in an apartment on what is it, Quibo Plus? What was it?
Blippo
Plus.
Yeah, on Blippo Plus. So subscribe to Blippo Plus. It's only $14.
From the planet Blip.
Yeah. So if you subscribe there, you can see me harassing and womanizing as Wolverine. Very cool. And that's all I got until next week, guys.
The show is just called Tie Guy Logan.
All right, chat, you've been awesome today. Thank you so much for everyone hanging out. As we keep saying week after week, enjoy whatever you're playing because it is endless right now. So I'm looking forward to getting a little more in the Silent Hill today. I'm gonna go do that and enjoy the rest of Sunday. I hope you all do the same. Don,
go Lions,
super chatting in literally 10 seconds as I'm closing the show. Don is super chatting. You couldn't have done that in the last hour and a half.
Don likes to be a part of the show.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Coming in hot at the last second. Still waiting on my trails. Still playing Oblivion Remastered. Excited for Yote.
Okay.
Yeah.
He must have a lot of time in Oblivion.
Trails is going to slide right into the really deep weeds for you because there's so many things coming out this end of September and early October. So I'm sorry about that, Don. Trails is so good, though.
It's good. Yeah. I'm very curious to see once a bunch of people get their hands on Yote as well, to see how they shake. I really want to play it, but I'm going to have to hold off because there's no time.
I'll have some Yote thoughts, I think, but it's going to have to do some work to beat Trails and Hades. Just for my time, not in terms of final score.
Yeah, of course. Don, thanks as always, man. I hope Tottenham is doing well. Otherwise, thank you for the super chat. And we are going to go ahead and close out like I already did. So I'm not going to repeat everything. Everyone, have a fantastic week of gaming, and we will see you next Sunday. Till then.